All right, this is just a real quick video, and there's just some things that defy comprehension, for me at least. And I just want to, just very briefly, want to talk about this fascination with communism. Now, communism, conservatively, is responsible for the death of, about 100 million people last century alone, right? You've got, conservatively, right, 40 to 50 million in between Lenin and Stalin. And there are higher estimates than that. And then you've got Mao Zedong, who's known, at least on the surface, as the greatest mass murderer in human history, who oversaw the slaughter and starving to death of 60 to 80 million people. So conservatively, let's just say 100 million people last century alone were killed directly by communism. Now, I gotta ask, all right, don't you think that's prima facie evidence? That's enough to tell anyone who has two neurons rubbing together with electrical impulses going through their brain that, you know, communism probably ain't the best idea. I mean, what the fuck does it take for people to grasp the most basic concepts? What does it take? The number one selling T-shirt right now is the stupid shirt with the red shirt with the communist symbol on it. Why? Why in the hell would anybody put that on their body? It makes no sense at all. Communism killed 100 million people last century alone. That ought to tell anyone that communism is not a good idea. What the fuck does it take? What is the criteria for realization? How many corpses does it take, right, for someone to say, hey, you know, we probably shouldn't repeat that. We should probably move in a different direction. Like I said, I just don't understand why anyone would support that ideology. Okay. Now, the Chinese, I'm going to use the Chinese as an example. Now, to suppress outright revolution in China, China was actually forced, which is a communist totalitarian government to the core, to artificially create their own version of what we consider to be the middle class. Because there are, you probably got about 1 billion people, a rough estimate of people in China that are living in poverty. India is worse, right? So the Chinese, the totalitarian communist Chinese government was actually forced to create their version of a middle class as kind of a steam valve to prevent a revolution in China, right? But the stranglehold of control remains the same, right? People are a little more freer, right? So if you think about it, it's really just a reverse engineering of the capitalist model. So if the only successful, and we'll just take North Korea out of the picture for now, because they would be more of a Stalinist type classification. But in order for China to maintain their grip, they had to, at least on a very basic level, acquiesce to capitalism. So that on top of what I was saying, should tell people that in order for communism to survive at all, that there has to be that segment of the population which is given a little bit more than everybody else. So I just got to say, look, communism is not a good idea. All right? It looks good on paper, right? If you had the blueprints for it, you give everything to the government will take care of you, right? Everybody works for the state. Everything's cool. You don't have to worry about health care. You don't have to worry about food, right? You don't. Maybe you get some liquor every month. You get some vodka. You know, get a little fringe benefits. So on paper, it looks great. Everybody can just fucking kick back, saying we are the world, and we got no problems. But we don't live on a fucking piece of paper. All right, we don't live in a two-dimensional world. Humans always get, whenever there's a system of collectivism, there's always going to be the same thing. A very small group of people that control everything, and then all of the other people underneath them. So this whole concept that capitalism is the reason that this global economic depression, which is going to happen, it's happening right now in the very beginning stages, that capitalism is the problem, is completely incorrect. All right? If anything, the capitalist idea, the free market principles that were supposedly guiding this, I'm talking about the United States here, we're guiding our economy, have been hijacked by the exact same system I described. It's not difficult to describe. A very small group of people, Goldman Sachs, right, who are collecting all of the wealth for themselves and having the American taxpayer pay up, right? It's a trickle up method, and are going to enslave the entire population. I mean, you take your two-dimensional model. I mean, you don't have to, it doesn't take much to figure out, folks. It's not difficult to do. So I can't understand this fascination with communism. All right? It's an ultimate means of control. All right? Control your thoughts, control every aspect of your life. And if you step out of line, you're done. You disappeared. No one will ever see you again. Is that what people want? Because that's what they're doing. I'm making another video about that McCain bill, McCain-Lieberman, big conservative that he is. Basically calling for the disappearances of people that have differing political opinions. So, communism's a bad idea.